Looking for a Chevy car, truck, or SUV? Go see my friends at Apple Chevy in Tinley Park. With over 500 new and used vehicles in stock, they have what you're looking for and at the lowest price possible. Go to applechevy.com. All right. Chuck Gowdy from ABC7 is joining us here at the Chicago Theater, the beautiful Chicago Theater.
Ro, it's interesting that you're right across from where you used to work,
I
just
still work
outside
there.
the order of protection zone.
Yes, exactly. That's true. I still work there. I'm just not allowed to get past the third floor.
Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to go.
Does the key card not work above the third
That
floor?
is correct. I'm only allowed to be on the first, second, or third floor. I am not allowed to go any higher. That's how that works.
Excellent.
All right. So what? Okay. Now, medical marijuana starts today, right? Some of these stores the store would be the wrong word. Dispensary is the term that they're using, right?
If you want to be in the lingo, that's what it would be.
Yeah. So these dispensaries are now active, and they've got now. First of all, how does that work? Will you just walk in with a card and you go, "Hey, I need a lid"?
Well, it has to be a legitimate card, and I doubt that that's the terminology you'd use, or at least that your doctor would.
It might not work.
You haven't met my doctor.
You might use that.
Yeah.
But
I got a doctor who wears a Hawaiian shirt who refers to himself only as doctor by his first name. He's Dr. Jimmy.
They said they're turning away some patients because they had the ID cards, but they didn't register them online. So there's quite a process to getting to that point.
Right, and this is the first day, so you have to. You can't just walk in. That's correct. You have to have been cleared through the system, vetted. You have to fit a certain medical diagnosis in order to even qualify to use marijuana in the state of Illinois now. And it's going to be a learning curve here for everybody who's involved in it, I think.
Do they have they have different types of marijuana? For
Absolutely.
different stuff. I mean, it's to a particular medical condition.
Absolutely.
I've got paranoia. I'd like some more.
A year ago, that's not one of the conditions, by the way.
Okay, all right. And they're not fun names like they have in Colorado and in California and places like that.
But see, in Colorado, those so-called fun names are for recreational marijuana, and that's not what exists here. And according to the governor, won't exist as long as he's running the show.
Oh, well, thank God. I mean, I'm glad he's in charge of something.
Right.
So will they have chronic for chronic? I guess that's the question.
Haven't seen that.
Haven't seen that? Okay. All right. So, Chuck, it turns out you're doing a story tonight on the ABC7 that says that this medical marijuana, marijuana is, so you don't have to necessarily go to the dispensary for it. You could just go to your mailbox for it. Is that correct?
Well, that's what our story tonight at 10 o'clock is, and it comes from legal marijuana sale states. For instance, Colorado is one of the major states where marijuana is now being mailed to people in the Chicago area illegally, but 90% of the people who do this, by one estimate, get away with it because it's very difficult the government cannot just go in and open somebody's mail.
But if the dogs smell it, or if they somehow detect it, can't they put that mail aside?
Not good enough, and it's not happening that way.
What do you mean it's not good enough? Because you need a warrant after that. You have to go
it's not like UPS or FedEx where the dogs can go through and open it. The U.S. mail cannot be opened just because a dog hits on it.
Gee.
Who knew that?
Who knew that?
Right.
You could have had an extra business going there, Ro.
What am I doing in radio?
Well, in states where marijuana is not legal in any fashion, it's a big problem, and that's people have come up with a way to get around it, and that's what we look at in the story tonight.
All right. Well, I want to go back to this whole USPS issue, though. How was that? Explain that. I thought. I mean, what if the bomb sniffing dog hit on it?
Well, there are some public safety considerations here,
but there's so much of it, so much chronic going through the mail that people don't care. That it's like this.
I wouldn't say that they don't care, but legally, it cannot. If you work at the post office and you smell an envelope or a package and you know that there's marijuana in there, you can't just open it up, dump it out, and move on to the next envelope.
Well, we saw with the anthrax scare that the federal government got very involved in screening mail things that came through the mail, and was able to intervene there. But that's a public safety
Right.
issue,
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
this
it's a different situation.
Yeah.
fall in a different category. Interesting stuff.
All right. And have there been any arrests in any?
There have been. In fact, there's a guy in Chicago who is just starting a jail term right now because he was caught. I mean,
Receiving it?
Yes, there are people being caught, but it's a very small percentage.
Did he have like gigantic boxes of it?
It was not a huge amount, no, by conventional standards.
See, now that's what does that mean, Chuck? When you say conventional standards, what exactly does that refer to?
Well, you know, it seems like every time you turn around, somebody's claiming the biggest marijuana bust in history.
Yeah.
So, based
Yeah.
on those comparisons.
Well, wouldn't it make sense? I mean, this is the thing about recreational marijuana use. And the states like Colorado and now Washington State and others are going to get online here relatively quickly in this. It does seem to me that's... I mean, this is all going to be done in the next... By 2020, 2021, 2022, it's going to be legal for some purposes in almost every state, if not every state.
Well, but there have to be a lot of changes made in order for that to happen. Number one, you have a whole slew of Republican presidential candidates who say that they will disallow what's happening right now in the marijuana industry if they're elected.
Right. They're saying that in the Republican primary.
Correct.
You just wait until the general election, and they're gonna run away from that because the money is just so huge for these states, especially.
And now the money, they can't do anything with the money yet because there's still a federal prohibition of marijuana. And all of this money that's being made in these states where it's legal, there's nothing to do with. They're warehousing the cash because no bank will touch it because banks are federally regulated and there is a federal prohibition against marijuana.
And that's happening here too, I would assume, right?
That's happening anywhere.
Everywhere. How do you ultimately control this? I mean, we've had such a poor reputation in this state for major money-making opportunities like this to go corrupt. And you've been the best anywhere of investigative reporting here or anywhere. And when you look at this amount of money moving around, are you concerned that there might be some corruption entering the process somewhere down the road?
In the states where it's legal, it's been as clean as you would expect. You haven't heard about any major corruption scandals in Colorado, for instance, and because there's so much money involved in it, they can pay to have incredible security. Not only moving the marijuana in, but also moving the cash out. And the last thing, I mean, it's a license to print money. It used to be TV stations, but now it's marijuana dispensaries.
Right? Yeah.
And the last thing that these marijuana distributors want is for their business to be corrupted because they're making a fortune legally.
But you're saying that you can't do anything with the money. I mean, I don't understand that. So the states can't do anything with the money. They can't do anything with the tax returns, receipts?
No, in Colorado, it goes this way. The same armored cars that deliver the marijuana pick up the cash.
Yeah.
They take the cash and drop off the state's cut of it, and then they take the rest of it and they put it in a warehouse. They're building warehouses in Colorado to store the cash because they can't bank it.
Well, then, but who can? The distributors?
The
themselves?
distributors cannot bank the
So if
money.
I went and bought myself a little marijuana operation in Colorado Springs, let's say, I wouldn't be making any money on it.
No, you're making all the cash. You're keeping the cash.
You just can't put it in a bank.
You can't put it in a bank. Nobody will take it for an investment.
Because of federal banking law.
Exactly. Now you got it.
How about
I think
El
we
Chapo?
just. I think this is the direction we've been going for the last 10 minutes.
I know. I still. You know what? I missed. The
He's just
term
thinking of other opportunities.
banking
His
law.
mind's wandering, wondering.
He's still trying to come up with an illness that will fit. I think that's what he.
Does ankle work, Chuck? Would ankle work? We've gone back and forth on this.
This is high art. What I have just done. This is theater of the mind. I have now done my impression of a guy so stoned he couldn't remember what Chuck said 5 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago to me through this entire interview. So there you go, Chuck. Thank you, and scene. All right, the great Chuck Gowdy. See this report tonight at 10 o'clock on ABC 7. Speaking of ABC 7, Val Warner. You've heard of her, right?
I see her every now and then.
Yeah, she's going to join us coming
Love
up in
Val.
just a second here because we're here at the Chicago Theater right across the street from the ABC where I still do work part-time, but only on the third floor and
Right.
below.
I've
right?
read the fine print of that order.
Yes. You still see my car parked near yours in the garage from time to time. All right. All of
guys.
that's
Thank you,
coming your
Chuck.
way. But first, Judy Pilot's got the WGN traffic.